Hello, and welcome back. So far, I'm still alive. I'm like waiting, but I'm pretty sure August, the first day of this month is August. It's gonna be the worst month ever for me when it comes to the military, but like, I'm just gonna suck it up, I guess. Also, I don't think I ever mentioned this fact in the podcast, but I'm actually in the Navy somehow, which is like really rare from my end. It's like out of 1,000 people, they only choose around 100. So like, hey, I'm lucky in a sort of sense because instead of sleeping in a room with 40 other children, I'm sleeping with a room with only 10 other people. I was like, cool. Anyway, enough about the army. I'll only talk about it for 30 seconds, and that's pretty much it. And I know this subject is completely off field, but it's like it's really annoying every time I go on Reddit, Twitter, or whatever other social media I use, and I see like one game people talk about. It's like for some reason when it comes out, I'm not sure about other sort of communities like music or movies community, but in the gaming community there's so much negativity around it. I don't understand that, and it's so duper annoying. It's not, and it's always towards those specific games. There's probably 100 other games where it's just like unnecessarily, the community is so unnecessarily negative towards it that it's just super duper dumb. But like the main ones that I know of and getting pretty tired of is towards Dark Souls 2 and Kingdom Hearts 3. Two games I really do like, and it's like for Dark Souls 2, sort of understandable, quote unquote. And I still think most of the criticism were absolute dumb, and it's like, yo, the game got Game of the Year and won reward. I know for some people it'd be like, oh, Game of the Year doesn't matter, but that's only when it's a game they don't like, they wins. But if it's a game they do like, that's like, oh, it makes sense. But like, yeah. And wait, no, what was I going again? I completely blacked out. And it's like you go down, you see someone post about the game, you're always gonna have someone that's like, but it's a bad game, you know that, right? It's like, and when you mention you don't like a game that's popular like Persona 5, which I am really negative towards, and it's like you'll have, and I always have someone telling me about like, it's Persona 5, it's an okay-ish game, but like, so it's not okay-ish to me. I think Persona 5 was a massive disappointment. So I do sound like a hypocrite when I say like, oh, why is there so many games like the video game community is so steeped in negativity that's like I'm sort of contributing it with my hatred for Persona 5. But it's like, it's always the big precedent, and it's annoying because like there's so many video essays like 1 hour long to 5 hour long talking about, yo, this is why the game is bad, and it's just like my opinion. And then when people go against and like criticize that video, you always have some asshat saying, but like, it's just opinion, so it's actually okay to not agree or disagree or something like that. And it's just like, it's dumb. When a criticism is dumb, it's dumb. Like, there's this video, I completely forgot who did it, Civet, I think, that's like a 5 hour long video about why Persona 5 is bad. It's like, every time I see that video, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna like Persona 5 for like 10 minutes just because of that video. And it's like, most of the points were bad, and it's like, but there's so many other videos are like, this is why X and X game is bad, this is why this game is bad. And it's like, I'm getting tired of it. Like, I guess I should try and look for more positive videos, like, oh, this is why I love this game, or this is why this is a good game. I should try looking for those sorts of videos, but it doesn't help that they barely get enough views, and the only one that get a lot of views is the one that's like, insert popular game here, insert why it's bad. And it's like, I'm tired of it. It's like, it's annoying, but it's like, it's not like as though it doesn't make sense. What drives people attention? Oh, negativity is the whole metaphor of the car crash. When you see a car crash, it's a horrible thing that really can destroy someone's life. But we want to see what happened. We want to look like, oh, what's happening over here? Who's dead? Is someone alive or not? And it's like, that's what it essentially is. But it's like, there's so many of it. It's not like I'm trying to say that those videos are bad or anything, or they don't have any place. They're entertaining to say the least, but then there's like more of it and more of it and more of it, to the point where someone's like, yo, that's just like, and it's obviously just for clickbaiting. It's like, oh, which is the popular game? Like, the one I think was subjugated to that the most was Breath of the Wild. I don't say this lightly to any games I've played, but Breath of the Wild is essentially what I will call a masterpiece. Literally everyone knew that because anyone who played the game will tell you that it's really good, and it's like, and everyone has different reasons for it. Some people love the music, and some people like the open world the reason open world type exploration game. There you go. Or they like the story. Breath of the Wild just provides that to every sorts of genre. But the thing is, the positivity was so much that you start having a group of people who were getting annoyed by the positivity, and they're not like, yo, this game is bad, you know that, right? And it's like, oh, I just want to roll my eyes up. Just because you think a game is bad doesn't actually make the game bad. Like, I hate Persona 5, don't get me wrong, but I will never call it a bad game because it's not. The game's not broken, the game doesn't look like shit, the game runs okay. And it's like, but for me, I still think it's a massive disappointment. And then you have people who use those words as well, like Anya's like, oh, this is why the game is disappointing, so they don't upset people with it, like, oh, this game is bad. It's like, I know I'm just rambling on now, but it's like, oh, can we just not have something positive? Can we not have more videos where people are praising this a game they like? And it's weird because, like, you will see one video where it's like half an hour long, people just talking shit about this game, but then you have like you have this 5-minute video that talk about how positive the game they like. It's like, you can write like an hour-long essay of why you hate a game, but you can't write an hour-long essay of why you love a game. It's like, you could do it, I think. Like, I want to do it, but like, I have no time. And like, I'm mentioning it so much, but it's like, it's annoying. I was like, why so negative? And then you try to say that, like with Dark Souls, like, I think Dark Souls is slightly better than Dark Souls 1, which is not saying much. But you will always have people who are like, oh, but this game is shit. It's a shit game because, like, everyone else thinks it's a shit game, therefore it is a shit game. It's like, you've never played a shit game before. Like, how many times did I say shit in that sentence? I don't know, but I don't want to stay in this subject. It's annoying because, like, someone posted a Kingdom Hearts 3 post, and I go down this comment section and it's like, yo, by itself it's an okay game, but compared to Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, it's a terrible game. And I just want to slap them senselessly because, oh my god, that statement, it's just steeped in nostalgia, and they don't want to admit it. Like, Kingdom Hearts 1, I like the game, don't get me wrong, but I like, oh my god, it aged milked. It's like, other than the music and the story, like, everything else was like, But enough about that. I want to be positive. Man, I know I'm gonna screw myself over because next week I'll probably talk about why I hate Persona 5, but like, now I want to talk about games I like, and I want to talk about Dark Souls 2 because I'm mentioning Dark Souls 2 and I've been replaying it again. Not a lot, just a few areas and DLC stuff that I missed on my third playthrough. But it's like, I really think Dark Souls 2 is an okay-ish game. It's not the best, it does have its issues, which I hate saying, but it's like, it's not as bad as people make it out to be. Like, for crying out loud, the game got Game of the Year. I don't think it's that bad, people. And the thing that I liked about the game most, but actually a little fun story, I got into Dark Souls thanks to a friend who was playing through Dark Souls 3 at the time. He was just praising how good the game is, and I'm like, oh, Dark Souls series seems kind of cool. And I went to the PS Store, what you call it, the one on the PlayStation, and I'm like, oh, hey, what game's on special offer? Oh, Dark Souls 2 for like $5-10, let's get that. And I got it, and oh my god, was I scared shitless. I don't know, each Dark Souls game has a really good atmosphere to it that each game just nails. And it's like, for me, Dark Souls 2 was just a scary ass experience because, like, what's over that? What's over there? Is it gonna kill me? Am I gonna die if I touch it? What's that? And it's just like, it scared me. Like, I will consider, like, each Soulsborne game, they're a little bit scary for me because, like, they just nail atmosphere down pat. Some better than others, obviously, but like, for me, Dark Souls 2 got a lot. I remember I managed to get to Majula, gorgeous area, and then I started on the Forest of the Fallen Giants, and I'm like, this area, it's so much for me, it's scary. And I got to the bonfire, and then I dropped the game because I have no idea what to do, and then I'm like, Then I stopped playing the game for a while because I'm not that scared. I was like, oh god, I don't want to keep doing this. It's too much for me. And like I was discussing with my friend, and that's when the same friend who introduced me to Dark Souls, and then he's like, oh yeah, Dark Souls 2 is the worst one in the series apparently. And I'm like, well, really? It is? Okay, I never heard that before, and turns out it was true. By the community standards, I mean, and it's like, okay, and then like 8 months later, I decided to redo it again after my friend literally shit talked me about how I never finished a Dark Souls game. So like, thanks, dude. So I pulled myself together to beat the game. I restarted because I had no idea what I was doing in my first playthrough, and I watched this guide. It's like a 10-minute long video about like going through the area, really well made. I completely forgot the guy. He never finished the walkthrough, but like it helped me in the beginning. And I managed to do the first boss, the last giant, which I really liked, by the way. I mean, like, and like I remember beating it, and my heart was racing so fucking much because of how much intense it was. It was amazing. It was so fun. And when I beat him, I was just like it was just so awesome. And then, oh yeah, and also there's a lot of different reasons why people like Dark Souls. Some say it's for the difficulty, some say it's for the lore, and I'm definitely the one towards the lore aspect. I really do like the story of each Dark Souls game. I think they're pretty well made. Dark Souls 2 being my favorite example because like, for a sequel to a game, it really makes its own story, like, but using elements from the first game just to make it refreshing and like unique. It's not like as though it's Dark Souls 3 and it's sort of cliche. I'm saying that now. When it comes to lore aspect, I do think Dark Souls 3 is the weakest one, even though it has some pretty good story moments. Lore moments, I don't know, but it's like it's just like it felt weird for me. So like, but I'm probably just gonna talk about Dark Souls 2 in this one. I don't know how long I can go. But I beat the last giant, and I was just like, oh, awesome, I did it. And then I keep going, and then it's like, for the most part, that was my entire experience of Dark Souls 2, beating a boss and then get really, really satisfied with it, because it was like, it's so much. And it's like the level design, well, most for the Forest of the Fallen Giant really did impress me. The wall breaking one where you had to use an explosion to break it, I thought that was really creative. And then that one gate that opens up that's next to the ladder that goes to the boss arena, that was just awesome. And the other boss in that area, the Pursuer, which I like to call the Bedour, because one time I was texting my friend that I beat him and I misclicked and it said Bedour, and I think it sounds hilarious. It's like that introduction cutscene of the Pursuer is what I would call lit, and it was like, oh my god, is that an eagle? And it was intense. And then another thing I like about Dark Souls 2 is that like each boss arena, like not all the bosses, some bosses just a simple fight against the boss, but some bosses have like this unique gimmick towards the boss. Like it has a way that can actually really benefit you. Like in the Bedour fight, if you parried him and then used the giant crossbow, and you can just shoot him, and it's like awesome. It rewards those who explore the boss arena before doing anything. And it's like, it was cool that seeing such a behemoth dying just because of that. It was like awesome. The lore, actually, I forgot to talk about the lore. I don't know how to incorporate the world and then the lore, but like, I guess I can save it to the end. But like, I love the characters in Dark Souls 2. I think it has the best NPCs out there. But I guess I'll just go through the bosses first, because like, what's Dark Souls known for, and that's the bosses. And after the Pursuer fight, the recommended order is going through Haide's Tower of Flame, which I absolutely love. I like the name, I like the area, it looks so cool. But the boss for that area, it's the Dragon Rider, which I think people give a lot of shit towards for some reason, because like, oh, what is Dark Souls 2 known for? The guys in armor, but like, sure, it has a lot of them, but like, they're really good and they're fun, and it's like, and Dark Rider is no exception. I think it's like a good test of skill of the boss, and the fact that like, oh, you're tired of fighting him over and over again, just do not pull the levers before the boss arena and just make him fall to the death. Like, I'm pretty sure they intended that, because like, it's so cool. It's like, do you want to help yourself and make the arena bigger, or do you want to use the small stature of the arena to your advantage? And it's like, it's cool, I like it. And even though you do fight them again later on, but like, I get to that. And the next fight of the area, the Old Dragon Slayer, like I say this now, I do not think fighting it right away after you defeat the Dragonheart is a good idea, because like, oh god, is it annoying going through the boss rush. Like, okay, out of all the Dark Souls 3 games, I do think Dark Souls 2 has the worst boss run for some. Like, not like saying other games are better at it. You have like Dark Souls 3 stupid ass Abyss Watchers run up, but like Dark Souls 2 just takes the cake for it. But that fight, the Old Dragon Slayer, it's just pretty cool. It makes me question like, yo, what the fuck? Why is Ornstein there? What does this mean? I don't understand. I don't think everyone does. Like, yo, it's just the Ornstein there. Is it like a manifestation of his darkness or his willpower? I don't know. It's cool though. I like its design. The battle music is pretty fucking good. Oh, in this game, the music-wise, I still like it a lot. I like all Soulsborne game soundtrack, but instead of having Modoi Sakuraba work on it by himself, you have Yuka, is it Yuka? I want to be right, I'm just Yuka. Oh yeah, Yuka Kitamura, and like she doesn't do a lot of track for this game, but the track she does, like the Old Dragon Slayer and the Ruined Sentinels theme, is like, oh yeah, that's what we call good music. And like, I love her work in this game. Modoi Sakuraba feels off in this game. I don't know why, but some of his themes in this game in Dark Souls is like, it's not bad. It's like, I wish it could be more. Like for the next boss, the Flexile Sentry, it's like, it's atmospheric, I guess, which doesn't. No, that's just weird. Like it's more atmospheric, because I guess that was the point he was going for. Like some boss fights just have like an atmospheric towards the boss music, which isn't a bad thing, but like with Soulsborne game, it's like if it's like you only get music when you're in your some select area or for bosses. So having it be atmospheric just feels not bad, but like definitely off. But that's skipping ahead to Flexile Sentry. But after you're done with Hyda's Tower of Flame, the next, oh wait, you have the weird Covenant of the Cathedral of the Bull. I've never done the PvPs for any of the games because I don't have a PS Plus, and I'm not planning on getting it anytime soon, because like, I don't care for a multiplayer types game. But the next real area, Norman's Wharf, I think it's super duper creative. The fact that it's like a lake, like a port city kind of thing is like so cool, and I love exploring the area because like I think it's really cool that like if you carry a torch around you, you can light up the area so it looks better, or you can use the Pharaoh's Lockstone in the area that just lights everything up. And it's like, I like this, and the fact that you can either go through the entire area just to ring the bell, or you can use an arrow just to hit it from afar. Like, that's just creative. It gives you so many possibilities, and the shortcut it is when you push down the bridge. Like, I was impressed. Every time there's a good shortcut, it's like, ew, clap to the developers. They did a good job on it. And I like the gimmick for the Flexile Sentry fight, that the water rises. I was like, oh, that's just cool and also really scary. But, and like, especially Flexile's design is like, yo, this is so Dark Souls. Not that much of Dark Souls, but like, oh, it looks cool. And then you get to ride the boat to the next area, which is the Lost Bastille. And like, wow, when it comes to underappreciated area in Soulsborne game, Lost Bastille is definitely one of them. This gorgeous ass moonlight across the sea, and then you have everything in the tintage blue thing. It's like, why does no one ever talk about that part? It's a cool ass part. So like, the whole area itself, I think like, oh, it was okay. There wasn't any, okay, no, that weird ass shortcut where you open the door that just leads down to your death, and you have to go a little bit higher and then run across it just to do it. That's like, okay, game, I think that's a little bit too over the top. I'm like, hey, it works sometimes, I guess. But the bosses for the Lost Bastille, okay, no bosses, or like just one. The Ruined Sentinels is what you do a good triple fight, I guess, like 1 against 3 bosses, because like the way it started off, you start off in a ledge with one of the ruined sentinels, and it gives you plenty of time to be able to defeat it before the other two come. Then you can either choose to go down with them to make it a 1 against 2 fight, or you can do it with the first one and let one of them jump. You can damage them a little bit or not, or you can just choose to run down the glitch in the beginning. Let's just burp. Or you can just skip that and go underneath to make it a 1v3 fight. It's like, that's how you do a good gang boss. And it's like, it's pretty, like, out of all the Soulsborne games, I do think Dark Souls 2 does a really good job with gang boss, because like they give you option. It's not like as though like this is a big area, it's 1 against 3, have fun with that. But like, it gives you options, and I like it. And it uses the like the boss arena to its advantage. Like they use the area to the potential. Even though that area is full of illusionary walls, that's just like, okay, that's just dumb placement. And like I mentioned it before, but the music, the Ruined Sentinels thing was like awesome. Bum, 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 bum. It's like, oh, it's good. But then you go to the next area, like, oh, that's just how you do a good gang boss. And then you have Belfry Luna, which has the worst gang boss. Like, oh, just contradict myself. No, but I actually really like. I just heard it recently, but every time you use an Estus in that like gargoyle fight, Belfry gargoyles fight, they actually spawn in right away. So it's like, but it's like, is it confirmed to be like that? I don't think so. It's like, it seems so easy, but like, but if you don't know that and you probably drink Estus every time you got hit, like, oh yeah, it's just like, okay, get 6 against 1. That was not fun. That was just annoying, especially on New Game Plus. But like, the whole area was another PvP sort of area as well, so like, I didn't hold my attention that much. I do love the lore between the prince and the princess, but I'll get to the lore later after I'm done with the areas and bosses. But like, once you're done with that, you do this Sinner Rise, and like, for a short area, it was for short, but the fight there, the Lost Sinner, I like it. It's a cool swordsmanship fight, but running up to it was, oh my god, that was just a pain in the ass. Like, oh, let's have Flexile Sentry again underwater. It's like, no, please no, I don't like this. It's not fun. It's scary. And then you have the explosion guys. It's like, oh no. But like the Lost Sinner herself, yeah, it's a cool fight. And I like how you have to again explore your areas, get the key to unlock the 2 cells on the side to light up the arena, or do it in the dark. It's like, yes, reward those who will explore the areas before doing the fight. Like, it benefits you and it's cool, and I wish Dark Souls 3 and Bloodborne does this. I don't think Bloodborne and Dark Souls 3 even do this. Like, it's just cool. I like it. I like when it rewards people with their exploration. Like, it's just cool. But once you're done with the Sinner Rise, another underappreciated area, I believe, it's Huntsman Corpse. I love this dawn greenish effect it has, and going through the area was just cool. Oh, some of the fucking the boss run for the fucking executioner chair, that was like, oh god, no. But then it made me realize that, oh my god, this crossbow you get in the Forest of the Fallen Giant is like a fucking lifesaver. Like, I've never used a crossbow in any other games except for Dark Souls 2, because it was like, yep, surprisingly helpful. But the fight itself, the executioner chariot in the Undead Purgatory, I think it was really creative. How you have the horse running around and all that stuff. It's just cool. And the fact that you can either go through the area, defeat the enemy, and then close the gate so you can fight the horse, or you can actually stand back and use a bow and arrow just to hit the boss enough time for it to fall and grab onto the ledge. It's like, that's just pretty cool. It gives you so many options to do the boss, and it's like, it's just cool. But that run up, damn it, oh my god, that was just bad. The Undead Purgatory itself, like, it's another PvP area, so it really didn't hold my attention that much. But the boss fight for the Husband Corpse, being the Skeleton Lords, it has a pretty good surprising theme, and I like, again, I think it's a gang boss done right. Like, I like how you, like, they don't have a lot of HP and they go down really easy, but after you defeat one, a boatload of regular skeletons spawn in, which doesn't take much to kill. But if you have an under level weapon, you haven't upgraded your weapon yet, it will be hard. But like if you have, it's not that hard, and it's like, and you have the option like, should I kill all 3 of them now and focus on this big group of enemies, or do I do one at a time? And it's like, I liked it, not that hard, but like it was still cool. In the music, good music done by Modoi Sakuraba again, so like yeah, he did good. But then you have Harvest Valley, and it's like, hey, Poison, so fun. But like unlike other Soulsborne game, I think Poison was done pretty well in this game, because like the area before that, the under Purgatory, there was some enemy that's just drop poison moss, so it sort of does prepare you, unlike in Dark Souls 2 where it just drops you in poison and you don't get a poison moss until you buy it. That's like, I'd say you do good level design, people. Even though Harvest Valley was considered one of the worst area transition, but we get to that. Harvest Valley itself, like I like how it's like an area they use to dig up stuff. You can see it, but like itself is really like, other than some enemies, there really isn't much to say about the area. But like the boss, the fight there. Oh god, I'm gonna sneeze. Oh wait, never mind. Damn it. Oh, that's just bad. Oh, that's just bad. Ugh. Oh god, I didn't sneeze. Oh god, I felt horrible. But anyway, so there's not much to say about Harvest Valley. But the next area, Earthen Peak, which I want to say Earthen Peak, like Earthen, but it's like Earthen. The first fight being the Covetous Demon. Again, people will make fun of how easy it is, but lore-wise, I think it's pretty cool, and it doesn't help the fact that Dark Souls 3 copies lore from Dark Souls 2. It's weird. Like, what do I mean by that? Simply put, Aldrich, the Devourer of Gods or whatever. His lore was literally copy and pasted from the Covetous Demon, but you just read away the whole love subplot, and it's just like he liked to eat humans because he ate a lot. Because like Covetous Demon is like, yeah, he just ate a lot to become to this point that's a monster, and the same thing happened to Aldrich, and it's like, come on game, come on Dark Souls 3, you can be original. And like, and it's not even the first time. Like the other time is like with the last giants and the what was that fight again? Oh yeah, Champion Gundyr. It's like you fight him in the present, but turns out you used to fight them in the past. It's like, yeah, come on Dark Souls 3, you can do something original. But I get to that later. But other than Covetous Demon lore being pretty good, there's nothing much to say about him. The fight itself, it's actually really creative. Like there's enemies hung up in some pods, and you can either shoot that down for them to come down, and the Covetous Demon is too easy eating them, so you can actually have time to kill it. Or you can just hit him, which is also a pretty good option. It's like, I like options, I like having them, it's creative. The same thing with Mitha, the Baneful Queen. I like the fact that you can either burn the windmill, so there isn't poison in the area that heals her, or you can just go there and just do the fight then like that, which is sort of unfair. But like the game gives you an option, but that's pretty fucking cool. But then the next area, which is like, it was stated by the developer and everyone can see it, but oh my god, that transition is just bad. Like going up the mountain, you're in lava. It's like, if that fucking elevator just went up to the side, it would have been so much better. But I guess the developers did not program them in, not at all. But Iron Cape, again, just has really bad boss run, like to the Smelter Demon. I like the Smelter Demon, I thought it was a cool fight, but like, oh my god, that run-up was just bad. It's like, and it doesn't help like the old Iron King. No, actually his boss run is actually pretty simple, other than the one ironclad soldier in the way, but like, oh god. And I wish the Smelter Demon got its own unique theme, but it replays the Ruined Sentinel theme, but like, oh, okay. And the Expanded Demon is just another test of strength sort of boss. Like, it's not hard, but like if you're just not focusing, you can just die. Old Iron King himself, I love the boss arena. Like, I love the aesthetic of Iron King. I love this whole lore, like, oh, this king has such a big ego that he built a massive iron castle that just sunk down. It's so fucking mythical shit that I love. And like, and the old Iron King's design, like, oh sure, it's just another fire demon. It looks cool though, I like it. But there isn't much else to say about that. I want to talk about the lore, but I want to talk about that together. And I just want to focus on the fight, so I guess I'm going to skip that for now. And the next area you visit, is it the gutter or is it the Teldora? I don't know, like I guess, because the thing with this game is like, it's really, out of all the Soulsborne games, it's the one that's open to you the most. Like literally, your first fight can be against one of the old great ones. Like you can go straight to the gutter if you wanted to, just to fight the... I completely blacked out the boss's name, but like that can be your first fight. Like your first fight can actually be with an old great one, which is just cool. Or like, oh, you can go through the Forest of the Fallen Giant, or you can actually just go through Hyda's Tower of Flame. It's like, it's cool. Like I love the option, but I guess I'm going with the order the game does, and I guess that's the Grave of the Saints. That area, like I love the name. I like the whole history of the like it being like the gutter. I mean, that's like, oh, people just threw stuff in that they think it's bad or something, and I think it's cool. And the name, the Lords of the this Grave of the Saints, just sounds so not mythical. Not what's that word I'm looking for again? Fantasy sort of thing. It's just like, it's cool. But the fight itself, Royal Vanguard has one of the best fight themes. It's like, oh, it's for a gang fight, but like, hey, the rat has a cool mohawk, so I guess it's not that bad. But there isn't not much to say about that. But I guess the next area you visit to is the gutter, the pit, and then the gutter. I absolutely hated the gutter. I hated the fucking poison statue that looks like the Emerald Herald. It's just like, I don't like it. It looks cool, not gonna lie. It got scary for me, but I was like, oh my god, I do not like it. It was just, oh, full of poison and full of statues. I was like, kill me now. And then you have this horrible enemy that's like sitting in oil, I think, and then it's just like when you run over it and then it just like pops out. Oh, that scared me so much in my first playthrough. I was like, I don't like this, I want to stop. But then I went to the Green of the Black Gulch and it's like, oh god, why is there a disco party here? This looks weird. But the fight itself, like, but if you have fire arrow and then you can shoot the pool of oil, I want to say oil, but I don't think it is, but like, it kills the enemy, so I am okay. But the fight itself, the boss for the area, the other great one being the Rodan, not hard, but like I love the beginning cutscene where he's shown building it or putting together one of the broken statues. It's like, I like it, and I like how the fact like its design is pretty cool, because like you have this enemy like the human on his shoulder that shows the attack he's doing, like he's just controlling it. It's like, oh, it's little details like this I love about this series, and it was cool. But like the fight itself was super duper easy, but like still, I'm like, when it comes to difficulty for this game, I actually really do not care about the, like, for me difficulty is such a weird fucking subject, because like I can breeze through a game. Like with Sekiro, I did not die 100 times. Like I don't think even, okay, 60 around there, I haven't keeping track, and it's like, but it was like, and like the final boss of Sekiro, I never found that hard. It's like, difficulty for me is weird. But the next area you go to, like the Shaded Woods, like you have to go through the area, be in things between, like next to it or something. Like the Shaded Woods, like, oh, it looks weird. Like, yeah, like the developers got lazy and just put some fog around this area where you have to go through. I never bothered to learn the layout. I just kept running around until I got there. But then you go out and then you have this area full of lions that, like, they look out of place, but lore-wise they actually make sense of why they're here, I think, I want to say. But the fight there being Scorpioness Nachka, I don't know how to pronounce her name, by the way, Nachka. Scorpioness Nachka. Yeah, anyway, the fight itself, I love her design. I like, literally the developer said it's like, oh, if we're gonna make a Quelaag, but based it somewhere else, what will it be? Like, oh, with a little bit of sand. Oh, Scorpion, and I thought that was pretty cool. And the fact that you can use Tark, Man Scorpion Tark, and their relationship and the lore about it, it's just tragically sad, and I love it. But then the next area, Doors of the Pharaohs, I love the aesthetics when you go there, and it's like this tall ass pit, I want to say, that's just full of doors and contractment. It's another area made for PvP, like the Grave of the Saint that I forgot to mention. But it's like, I love the aesthetic of the area. The fight itself, the Royal Rat Authorities, like, that was such an annoying fight. Like, oh, this 4 rat in the beginning were harder than the main boss, but like, I thought the rat looked like the Royal Rat Authority looked disgustingly cute. So there's that. But then the last, not big area, but like the last Lord, old ones area, I want to say, Brightstone Cove, Seldora. I love the name Seldora. I think it just sounds freaking fucking cool. But like the whole area itself, I really did like. I like the way it begins up with this campground full of army soldiers, but then you see this weird ass crystal thing, and you go more inside, and then this like spider, like you can tell that the whole culture of this area was just for spiders. And like the first fight, like the Prowling Magus and Congregation, is like people will give that shit like boss a lot, but and actually to be honest, I sort of agree. But like the thing is, they should have just not like made that area locked up until you fight all the enemies there, and then the door unlocks to continue on, not make it into a boss fight. But like I love the implication that like it's like some people like it's like the area you fight them in is like a church, and the Prowling Magus is just there to open to the ones public there as like a small safe haven from the spiders and spider people killing everyone. But turns out they're doing it for their own ways to get more souls or something. Like the whole lore implication of that boss, I really freaking love, because like it's little detail, and it's like the Deacons of the Deep, but like a little beta when it comes to story wise. I just said it. I like this fight more than Deacons of the Deep, even though I love the Deacons of the Deep theme. But the real fight of the area, the last old great one, the Duxtia Freya, I love the design, even though it's just a generic fantasy spider thing. I love it. It's so cool, especially its lore with the is this guy's name Soldora? I don't want to say. I think he had his own name, but like I don't know what is his name. But like once you're done with the fight, you see the dragon, like the petrified dragon going. That also the cutscene, the introduction cutscene of the Duxtia Freya was honestly disgusting. It was cool, like having the spider go inside its mouth. It's just like, ooh. But then once you're done with the fight, you go inside the room with the Lord's private chamber, and you see the Duke himself, like undead and stuff, and then you see the little cage with it bust open, like, oh, this is where he kept the spider. That's just cool. And then you get to and then you go on to like the last primal spawn part, and then Aldia comes out of it, like out of all NPCs out of the entire series. Aldia is the best, and that's just facts. Everything about him is absolutely amazing. He is good. But like also, yeah, that did scare me shitless when it first happened. But like also, fun fact, my username for YouTube is actually based on Aldia. I was like, I like the name and I really like it and I want to make it my own, but like I don't want to just copy Aldia. And I'm like, oh, let's just put like a line in the middle of it just to make it look more unique. But then I'm like, but how will I change Dia? Like I have Al, but like how should I change the last part? And I'm like, just put an M and then a Y, and then you got Mia, all Mia, and I'm like, I love it. I'm gonna use that, and then I realized it's probably a Cerebian porn actress name, but like, oh well, I like it. It sounds cool, so that's how I got my username. Fun fact, because of Aldia. But once you talk with Aldia, it has like cryptic ass messages and stuff, and I love it. But then you actually manage to get to Drown Lake Castle. Also Emerald Herald, I really like her character, but I'll talk about NPCs later. The Shrine of Winter, like short area, but like Drown Lake Castle, like oh my god, that was so cool. Running up, having the area just rain down upon you, that was like, oh, this pleases my aesthetic so much. It brings out the artist in me. And but the area itself, like I like the gimmick of the golems where you need to kill an enemy close to a golem to activate it. I just thought it was pretty cool. But the fight itself can be more better. Like the twin dragon rider fight, they aren't bad. I like the dragon fighter by itself, and I do like how when you first walk in there, you have one sitting down and you have the other standing on top of a pillar or something, and that just shoot arrows at you. And you can either try to defeat the first one who's sitting down before the other one comes down, or you can have the other one sitting down to hit the pillar so both of them will come down. I just thought it was creative, but like it could have been better. And like especially with the next fight in the King's Passage, I like the area, I like the thunder, and then you have the rain going through the window with the curtains flying. I love it, and it's cool. And the fight itself, the Looking Glass fight, Looking Glass Knight, is like, oh, that's just designed so well. It's just like, it pleases me. It looks cool. I like, out of all, each game has this weird PvP fight, like boss fight, where the boss uses PvP to its advantage or something. Each game has it, but out of all of it, I think the Looking Glass was one of the best, because even if you don't have like the PS Plus for it to work, you're still fighting a really good fight by itself. I love it. And then you get to the next hero people seem to hate a lot, Shrine of Amana. If you had a crossbow and level it up with Titanite, the area itself is really fucking cool. I love it. And I love the music there, like the Milfanitos theme. It's like, oh, when I first went there, I was so awestruck, because like, you don't expect it. And then you have this cool area, then you have like fireflies going around some of the undead there. It's like, oh, this is nice. But the area itself is a little bit long and it's annoying, but like, it isn't as bad as I think people make it out to be. The boss fight there for the area, the the Demon of the Song. I love its design and its lore, but I wish the fight was a little bit harder. But like, other than that, I loved it. I thought it was a great fight. And then you go to the Undead Crypt, a short area. There isn't much to say about it, really. It's like, yep, it's there. I do like the fight there. Vastalt, the Royal Aegis Aegis, is like, I love it. It's like, I love everything about Vastalt. I love his lore, and I love it. Did I mention that I really like Dark Souls 2? I think Dark Souls 2 is okay, and I love its lore. And the other optional boss being Vendrick. I love Vendrick, his lore is amazing, but the fight itself is so drag. It doesn't have that you need to collect like glass and the giant souls just to weaken him. But like, other than that, I love Vendrick. And then the next area being Altia's Keep. I love the area because like, oh my god, when you first walk in there, you're like, what the hell's going on? And then you keep going on and you see this horrible experiment that goes on. You have this skeleton dragon in the front room that's just like, what the hell? And the fact that once you light all the torches and you go back and then the skeleton comes to life, that's just like, oh god, it's so cool. Even though it killed me, it's just like, awesome. But the fight there, Guardian Dragon, I think it's definitely the weakest fight. It's like, oh, it's a dragon. There's not much to say about it, but I do like the implication that all the dragons you meet in Dark Souls 2 is not actually a real dragon, just the experiments of Aldia. That's like, I love implications like that. But the next area, Dragon area, really short area if you want it to be, but if you decide to explore around, it's pretty cool seeing all the dragons flying around. I love it. And then then you go to the Dragon Shrine. I love the fact that the Dragon Knights there will bow down to you first, and then you have the big knight come attack you. But if you run through those fights, then the Dragon Armor Knight will come fight you. It's like, I love it. It's like they respect you for coming, but like you still need to face their challenge. And once you do, they let you pass through without any problems. I just love it, especially with that big staircase with only one golden tinged Dragon Knight who's dual wielding, and you have everyone bow to you. I was like, oh, I love it. And then you have Aldia appearing in the bonfire before that, looking small as fuck. I was like, oh, that should not make me laugh, but it did. But then once you finish with the Dragon Shrine, there isn't any fight there. It's like, there's no boss fight like the dragon, the ancient dragon. Like, yeah, he can be a fight. He has pretty cool music himself, but like, I don't want to fight that. That just looks bad and dumb and poorly designed, which it probably is. But then you get like the Mist of Memories item that lets you go back memories, and then you go through like and then you go back to the Forest of the Fallen Giant, and then you experience the war that was happening there with the last giant's memory, and like oh, I love it. And it's like, and I like the implication that is it actually going back in time, or you're just reliving your memories. And I like the implication that the fact that the main character, the bearer of the curse, actually went through Drowned Lake once before, but he completely forgot about it, because that's what happens to an undead. You forgot what happens. And it's like, oh, I love the implication there. And the fight itself, the giant king or something, I completely forgot what the official title is. Like, it's like the last giant, but like in his prime. I like it. And then you also have that optional area, the Dark Chasm of All. Like, I haven't fought all the fights in Dark Souls 2 because like I don't want to waste my time to it, and most of them seem unfun. But like the what you call it, let me just, I'm a professional. No, oh wait, doesn't even wait. The fight itself. Oh wait, god damn it, Wikipedia work funds. What you call him? I want to get his name right. The Dark Dweller, I love its theme and I love how it looked, and I like the implication that, could it be the son of Manus? Like, you have his sister, could it be one of that? We don't know, and it's like, we'll probably never know, but the speculation Dark Souls 2 creates, I love it. It's amazing. And he's optional, which sucks. Also, you have that dragon memory when you go back to Sildora. I love it because the area looks so dark and grayish, and you have this dead dragon in front of you. It's like, oh, what could this mean? And then the last area in the best game, Throne of Want. It's just like a long ass path, and when I first played the game, I died to the final boss several of times, and I mean by final boss I just mean Aldia. I like, oh my god, this area is so long and boring, the game can never be bad. And then I'm like, oh god, this is probably the most boring boss run ever. And then I did Dark Souls 1, Gwyn's run up, and I'm like, I'm so sorry, Throne of One. I'm sorry that I thought that your boss run was really bad. Turns out Gwyn had that cake. But the fights itself, like the first one, the Throne Watchers and Throne Defender, I love the like, it's cool, it's so fantasy. Like, you have one that looks after the throne. No, you have the one that defends the throne, but you also have one that looks after the defender or looks after the throne. So it's like, I like it. It's so novel-esque, or like, poemy, like, I don't know. There's a word for it. It was like, I love it. I like it. It's dumb, but I love it. And that's it. Then you have Miss Chandra. I love her design. I love her music, but she was easy. And then you have Aldia, who was easy, but I love his beginning code and final code. And I love the ending. Like, do you choose to succeed the throne and then link the flame, or do not link the flame? I like the ending because it implies that the character can do both. Like, once you sit the throne, doesn't necessarily mean you do link the fire. You can choose not to. But I love the Aldia's ending. They added in an update where it's essentially like, you do not care about it, you just skip it. You don't want to be a part of the cycle. You want to find another way. And I love that ending as well. But then you have the 3 DLC, the Lost Crowns DLC, and I love all of them. Like, the Crown of the Sunken King. Like, I thought I hated Poison Area, but I think Crown of the Sunken King does an amazing job. And the first boss being with Alana, or Salna, let me just get it right. And I'm really good with the sister name other than Chandra, if you can guess. Where is it? Yeah, Alana, the Squalid Queen. I love the implication when you fight her and she's like, you were never deserving of the mire. I love the implication, like, oh, it's because we have the rotten soul with us before going into the area that she thinks we are the original king that left or died in the area. We don't know. And it's like, oh, the implication is good, and the music there. And then you have a soul being summoned, which makes no sense even now. And it's like, what does this mean? But then after you defeat her, then you do this best fucking dragon fight, Sin, the slumbering dragon. That's what you call a good fight. I love everything about it. The lore, the fact that he had poison in him, but the arrow that struck him damaged him, but also releases that poison, purifying him again. Is like, oh, that's just so cool. And then you have the Grave Robbers, which is like the exact opposite of the other two bosses. They're not bad, but I do love the implication that, like, after the kingdom has been abandoned, there's just robbers that want to steal all the crap there because they want to sell it. Like, I love that implication. I think it's pretty cool and it makes sense in a fantasy area. I mean, fantasy type game is like, it's cool, and the item you get, the flower skirt, I like it. I think it looks cute. And then you have the crown of the Old Iron King, and I love it again because I like the whole aesthetic of it. When you go out and then you see these massive pillars with the chains going across, that's like, oh, I said it so many times, but it's awesome. And the first fight, the Fume Knight, it was like, what, Remy, what's his name again? The Fume Knight? Fume Knight, is that his name? I don't think it's just called Fume Knight. I guess it is called Fume Knight. People say he was... Oh man, that sounded... Some say he was bad, like really, not bad, really, really hard. But I'm like, I thought he was really easy. I think he was okay. And it's like, and I love the music as well. Modoi Sakuraba did an amazing job on his theme, and I'm like, okay, this is like the best fight theme in this DLC, far none. And then you go to the old Iron King's memory, and then you fight Sirloin. That run was absolute shit, but oh my god, Sirloin make it so much worth it. The music was amazing, the fight was amazing, everything about him was amazing. And then you have the Smelter Demon, but Blue again, it's like each DLC has like 2 amazing fights and then 1 bad one. It's like, oh, that's a gimmick that I did not like. But to be fair, like those bosses, like the Grave Robbers and the Smelter Demon again, they were designed with PvP in mind. Like when you first try to fight these bosses, you go in an area that's full of summons and stuff. So it's like, they wanted to make a thing with it, and I guess that's what they get. But the last DLC, Crown of the Ivory King, is like, oh, how can it top out the first 2 DLC? And then they did it, and it's amazing. I like how you first come in, there's so this woman. Oh, and I forgot about Natalia. Like, I don't think I have time to talk about the lore of the game. I think I'm gonna, next week, I'm probably gonna talk about Dark Souls 1 or Dark Souls 3 together or something, but I'm gonna put the lore in one other podcast thinking about it, but I'm just gonna focus on the fights in this game. But like the Crown of the Iron King, when you first gone, you have Alsana screaming you shouldn't go there, and then you go there, and then you have this weird crystal blasting through. It's cool, and then you walk in full of snow, full of hailstorm, and then you can either go left, which has a false gate, or you can go right. And it's like when you go for the fight for the first time, you can see the fight, but that doesn't act. And I love the fact that you don't actually need the Eye of the Priestess to fight Ava, but you can Ava. You can still fight the boss fight really well, because that's what they do in speedrunning. Like, you don't go through the entire area when you speedrun the Crown of the Ivory King. You just fight Ava like that, and it's insane. But you're not insane and you want to go through the area, you go through right first, and then you explore this area, and it's cool. I love snow. And then you have Alsana talking about like, why are you continuing, you should stop that. And it's like you get the eye, and then you get the Eye of the Priestess, which I also had my head canon, like the bearer of the curse actually removed his own eye just to put that eye in just to see. But that's just like, it's never implied in the game. It's like he just carried it in his pocket and it's worked. But like, that's my personal head canon when it comes to that. But then you go fight Ava. I love the music of it again, no doubt about it. But it's like, it's not my favorite, but I like it. And I like the fight. I like big lions. They're cool, and I like the fight itself, even if it's on the easy side. And then you have the Ivory King, and I like how the fight itself, like you have 2 options. You can either go ahead and fight the boss fight, or you can explore the area again before that to get the knights there. And then it's like, oh, I love option, but like that's the recommended thing to do. And then you have like a war going underneath, and I love how it ties to Dark Souls 1 with the whole chaos thing, like with the bed of chaos. Like, I love it. That's how you make a sequel. You continue its story, not repeat it, and I love it. And then you have the Ivory King appearing after you defeat some enemies, like rising above him, coming out of the fire. And then you have the amazing boss theme by Modoi Sakuraba. It was like, oh, it's just amazing. I love it. Then you have him, and it was like so cool. And then you have the knights who are helping you freeze the enemy gates so they don't spawn, so you can just focus on him. It's like, oh, I love it. It's just so good. And then you have the next No, and then you have the next boss, which is like complete opposite, and then you have the other two pets of the Ivory Kings, that is like, oh, you did so well for the first two once again, but like, oh god. They have their own unique name as well, I remember. Let me just Google them because I actually forgot about them. I sort of blocked them. I never fight them. I tried doing it once and then I gave up because, like, I'm not doing this. It's better when you fucking do it PvP because, again, the area was designed with the PvP in mind. But like I don't have friends. But like Lut and Zelen, like I do love their theme. I do love how they look. But like for the final boss of the games is like, okay, you did good, but that's all the bosses. I didn't do all of them, but like I love it. But like and like even though I do not like fighting them, like most of them I don't, but it's like I love the lore, I love their aesthetics, and I love the atmosphere each hold, which I really fucking love. A lot of Soulsborne games do it pretty well, even with Dark Souls and Bloodborne, which they're not my favorite out of this series, even Bloodborne, but I was like, that's a conversation for another time. Anyway, and another thing I like about its NPCs and story in general, but I'm gonna save that with another one. I just want to go through the game and like talk a little bit about each boss fight and what I thought was hard about it. I love all the fights. I never thought one of them were like hard or anything, but like, and the ones I did find hard, I never beat them because like I don't like I just don't want to fight them, you know. Hopefully next week we'll talk about the lore of Dark Souls 2, or we talk about the other Dark Souls game and then save the lore of it towards the end where I put them all together. Hopefully it's not like half an hour about Dark Souls 2 and then 10 minutes for the other games, but like we'll see. Anyway, again, thank you for listening to this week's podcast. I can hope I hear you again next week.